What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning in to another video, man. Shout out to Notification Squad. Hope you're having a great day. Make sure to smash that like button. In today's video, man, I really wanted to get more in depth and kind of take it back to the basics and show you the source on EQ. Really, I know a lot of people have been asking me to really look at the Fab Filter Pro Q in depth, or any parametric EQ for that matter, so you can use the fully parametric EQ too. Doesn't really matter. I'll use any one. The reason I like to use this one for the tutorials is because we can get in depth and kind of look at things and really get a nice detailed view of things. So that's the reason I use this. I also believe that using the linear phase also has its advantages. But yeah, this is overall a nice EQ. But really, we're going to be looking at analog EQ as well as parametric EQ, looking at the advantages and then disadvantages to both, or kind of analog modeled digital EQ. But anyway, this is the Juice WRLD vocal effect. I know long-time subscribers have probably watched this video before. Definitely check the link in the description if you want to watch the full breakdown, as well as check out the FLP. So I'll just play it through. You can pay attention to the EQ if you'd like. I'll kind of leave these both up, or actually let's just listen to the whole track and then we'll kind of break down the EQ in depth. So let's get it.
I ain't leave a clue on the scene. Close range, so I got blood on my jeans.
Close range, so I got blood on my jeans. I need the cash, boy, I need the cream. I swear they pussy, I know that they ain't. She watching me and she say I'm a favorite. Jump man, jump man, jump man. All I do is trap man. Rip it with my left hand. Corn in the cut and I'm smoking on headband. Rockstar, preacher, think I'm Juice WRLD. Crab star, preacher, think I'm fade out. I'm fucked up that they all gone, yeah. But it's cool cause they living in my songs, yeah. I'm just smoking green. I like her, she cook it clean. If the ops gon' pull up, she got 40s in her magazine.
Purpose got me in my lungs.
Alrighty, so there you go. Pretty cool, right? We got that nice kind of rock star Juice WRLD vocal style going. But yeah, man, so first things first, we'll kind of just break down my initial EQ and what I'm using the SSL EQ for, really. Just making sure I'm recording. But really, while I'm recording, I generally monitor, meaning I'm recording while listening to this type of EQ. Now obviously you can use the free SSQ. I think I still have this from the other session. This is a free plugin. It is also zero latency, just like this one, so you can actually monitor with it. So for those who are template owners, you will be probably using the SSQ, as it is a free equalizer and a really good alternative to this. I generally like to monitor with it. I'll generally do a bit of a high pass filter. I'll dip away a bit of the frequencies I don't like, etc, etc. I'm generally doing my toning with an analog style EQ. Okay, so that's generally what I'm going to be using the analog EQ for. This is the SSL 4000 series equalizer. If we kind of look at it from top to bottom, we've got a shelving EQ. Okay, basically a shelving EQ does this. This is a shelf style EQ. You've got a high shelf and then you've got a low shelf. Okay, and with a high low shelf, you can either boost or cut. Generally with these types of EQs, you're going to be doing very nice minimal boosts. The cool thing about this G series right here is that it has a multiplier by 3, so I can actually boost 19,000 hertz. So I'm just doing a 1.1 dB boost 19,000 just to really open up the vocal sound. And I'll generally make these decisions while I have headphones on. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm also going to be dipping away a little bit of either 350 all the way down to 200. You can obviously do that here with this EQ. What I like about these EQs is A, they've got a bit of a sound to them. So they add a nice sonic character to your track or your vocal or your kick drum or whatever. But B, because you're kind of confined to these certain frequency positions, right? You only have 200 to 2.5 or 2500 hertz to kind of choose from and dip, right? That's the benefit of using one of these, is you're generally going to make kind of more, I would say, conservative decisions based on, what you have available, right? With these, you can do anything you want. So, that's the first kind of difference between a parametric and a analog modeled EQ. So, using this type of EQ or your favorite EQ, you can use a Neve EQ, whatever it is that you like that is an analog style EQ. If you want to go that route, you're going to kind of get used to the options available to you. So you'll generally see people using these same types of EQ moves for certain types of sound. So for example, when it comes to vocals, you're either going to be boosting 200 or cutting 200. This is generally always going to be the same, regardless of whatever vocal it is. It's just going to be maybe 253 sounded a bit worse than 3 whatever I had it on this one, 313, right? For this track it worked like that. I might just do a 200 cut. It doesn't really matter, right? It's going to be dependent on the vocal. So that's the first benefit. You get the sound right? You get the restriction of the frequencies that you have, so you kind of end up having to use it the same way, and you kind of learn it and learn how to abuse it. You know, as you can see right here, I'm really abusing it by boosting 200 for that extra kind of weight. But yeah, that's pretty much the first thing I would say. You know, so definitely pull up a nice analog style EQ. It's definitely a lot more smooth, or it's a lot more weighty. It kind of adds a tonal character to your vocals. So that's the first thing, right? Use one of these for source and for sound and for warmth. If you feel your vocals sound kind of cheap and brittle, try boosting, try cutting the nasty stuff, you know, with one of these, you know. So after that, we have the Fab Filter Pro Q. Now let's kind of just zoom it in right here. If we really look at this EQ, right, I kind of get anxiety just having this full screen. But, you know, when we look at this EQ, we can see that we have our sound laid out horizontally, right? So if I just play the track again, let's just play the vocal.
Jump man, all I do is trap man.
You can see our vocal, right? And things are kind of laid out horizontally, as I said. Over here, we will have our low bass, right? So where my mouse is right now at 183. That's our low mid bass, right? All the way up to the top, we got 24,000 hertz, okay? It seems that my microphone can go up to 24,000 hertz, which is pretty cool. That's kind of cool. But, you know, you kind of get the idea of what's going on with the vocal. Now, with this EQ, it allows me to really kind of surgically get into the vocal and the mix or whatever I'm doing. I'm going to use this for mastering. I'm going to use this for kind of fine tuning the main vocal especially. But it allows me to really deep dive into the really intricate parts of the sound, right, that I have. So I can either really dig into the low mids, right? If I'm generally, this is what I'm be doing, okay? I'm generally going to be boosting, and then I'm going to make a nice fine Q, and then I'm going to skim around the frequency spectrum while the vocal is playing. So
Jump man, all I do is trap man. Rip it with my left hand, cut and smoking on headband. Rockstar, bitch, you think I'm Juice WRLD. Crapstar, bitch, you think I'm Farai. Got fucked up that they all gone, yeah.
can you see how, you know, when I hovered over each of these points, you kind of heard this nasty resonance? That's generally what I'm going to be scanning for now. You know, over time you will learn to do this a bit more, as I said, conservatively. You don't want to be going too crazy with this type of EQ unless it really calls for that. Especially, I'm going to be doing more crazy EQ cuts when I generally haven't recorded the vocals. So if I'm mixing somebody's track or someone has sent me a voiceover that has this kind of crazy thing going on in it, I'm going to have to do crazy cuts because, you know, while I'm recording, I'm always setting up the mic so that I don't have to do too much EQ. But, you know, it still doesn't mean that I'm going to not want to blend the vocal with the beat. I mean, that's obviously what you're trying to do, right? So that's where the EQ comes in, is I can really just start listening to all of the things in the vocal that are clashing with the beat, A, and then B, making the vocal sound maybe too slanted in one direction, right? So if I feel my vocal is too bassy, I'm going to be hovering around this 200 to 300 area and really just kind of tucking away things. My general rule of thumb is I'm not really going to be going over 10, minus 10. I'm really going to be sticking to this zone right here and just doing nice slight cuts. But then again, there are no rules, so I'm going to be doing whatever is necessary. But for the most part, I know that I've got a well-recorded vocal and I'm not doing too many cuts unless it really is a beat that needs, you know, the vocal to blend in that way. I'm not going to be going too crazy. As I said, there are no rules, so whatever happens, happens. But, you know, the general rules of thumb that you can stick to. So, you know, sticking around, you know, 200 up to 500, cutting, you know, doing a little boost here and there, is definitely going to benefit your vocals. So definitely start trying that out once you've done your nice broad strokes with your analog EQ. After that, again, I always say I'm going to be dealing with the round, especially with, depending on your mic, you're going to have resonances in the mic that are going to, you know, kind of be emphasized while rapping. So if I, again, just boost this,
Jump man, all I do is trap man.
You know, just those sounds, you really want to be dealing with them, carving them out. And as I say, less is more. Just the 6 dB cut is going to kind of really get rid of that nasty resonance. You know, again, just 3.6 I'm dealing with, and then up here again I'm dealing with all of these frequencies. If I just boost one again, I'll try not to boost as loud.
Jump man, all I do is trap man.
You know, those are just really unpleasant sounds that I don't want you know, you to hear in your headphones. So I'm really just kind of tucking them away and dealing with them. The battery just died on this camera. I think it just turned off. But I hope the recording saved. But yeah, man, you know, that's pretty much it, man. There's really not much more that I can show you. Obviously, again, if you are a Waves user, you can try some more analog style EQs. This is the Waves Q clone. It has a whole bunch of cool analog boosts and that kind of thing. And those are, again, going to give you more of a flavorful tone, more so than just doing nice, clean, and critical cuts and boosts. So again, just to kind of recap, Your Pro Q is going to be your more clean surgical equalizer, really used for cleaning up your mix and making sure it blends with the rest of the track. And then your analog model EQs are going to be there for really adding kind of that nice fat, you know, tone to your tracks. So hopefully you learned something. Definitely go and EQ your vocals. Definitely make sure to record your vocals better so that you don't have to do too much EQ, and really step your game up. Definitely check the links in the description for my vocal recording course, vocal mixing course, and vocal enhancer, all for FL Studio. I hope you have a great week. I'll check you next time. Peace out.